Right, guys, welcome back. This is another episode of the Above Average FPL podcast, and my name is Adam, and as always, joined by Baker. How are you doing this evening, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
Good.
I keep saying it, but almost there.
Almost penultimate stream slash podcast. Not long to go. Not long to go.
Not long at all, mate. Not long at all. Game week 37 is it halfway through?
Yeah, probably. Probably just about halfway through. So, yeah, I'm actually looking forward to a bit of a break, and I think generally there's been so many. The Engaged Managers has just done so fantastically, generally speaking, over the year. It's been pretty cool actually to see everyone smashing it, and so I think we all get a nice, well-earned rest for once. No World Cup, no whatever else, just Champ Man to get through. I guess for the off season.
We'll find plenty to chat about, mate. Don't you worry.
Yeah, obviously it depends when. People are already talking about. You listen to other content creators. We haven't touched the subject yet, but price changes and positional changes and all that jazz. New players. We've got to start thinking about the championship now as well. The guys coming up, who that's going to be and stuff like that. So, yeah, quite a lot to come.
Good point. That for anyone that does listen, who's a fan of any of the championship teams, drops a note. And we don't know very much, I'm guessing, between us.
No, nothing at all. I don't pay anything. No, because we don't play Gaffer, do we? So I think if we play Gaffer, we probably have a bit of an idea, but we don't. So yeah.
I was trying to comprehend that the other day. The people that play Gaffer is that like trying to learn 24 other teams and you play like 46 games. I'm like,
yeah, but that's just Gaffer Championship. That's not like there's a Super League one in there as well, where you have like the top 5 divisions or something like that as well. Madness.
Not for me, mate. Not for Absolutely not for me. All right, let's get into it one last time, I suppose.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, because Baker hasn't, well, you have mentioned it. You're off to the US next week, so we're going to struggle. We're going to struggle because both of us won't be here next Sunday when the games are all on. So really, we will do a sort of a review pod of the season, but that will be delayed just because of things going on and Baker being away and myself being away the week after, etc. So, but we will make sure something's out there. In terms of game week 37, how's your game week going?
It's okay. Probably we did our thing the other week and looked at captains and just went with my gut on Son today rather than Richarlison. They were the two for me as the options, and did really badly from that. So it would have been a fantastic week, really, if I'd gone that way. But I can't complain, mate. Really, is 40 odd points in and amongst it in a week when chips have hammered it again. So if I can compete this week and stay, 5 points or so within it, then that would be an amazing week for me. So very happy. Dubravka clean sheet tomorrow night, and everything is great.
Everything's great. Fair enough. Well, you're projected to drop down because is that last game like who's in that last game that you don't have?
Well, Richarlison, I haven't got as a cap. I've got him.
Yeah.
But it's the Ings and the Cash and all of those ones.
Yeah.
And some Chelsea boy. Leicester been the
Leicester
one.
Are the killer, aren't they?
Yeah. This week so far, Leicester alone have been 9 effective points against me.
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, that just shows you 3 hits 1 is that 9 effective points from Leicester boys. Fantastic.
Yeah, smashed it. Smashed it. Yeah, myself, I'm on like 42 points or something like that. Similar story. I took a bit of a punt on Trossard against Leeds, didn't work out. Annoyingly, they had quite a high XG against Leeds, but he wasn't really involved. It was like Gross and McAllister and stuff like that. So, a bit frustrating, but that's just the way it is. I said Sun captain as well, so that didn't really pay off. But yeah, and again, Leicester boys have really just nullified it for me. The Villa thing and the Everton thing. I mean, I had Richarlison, but not captain, so I lost a little bit there, not much. Was very happy to see the clean sheet wipeout. Yeah, that was nice. And to actually have -1 against that for the Brentford game was great. And obviously the Villa clean sheet at the end. I think actually that was slightly bad for me because Dina was on 3 bonus at the time.
Yeah, he's still got 2 though. I think it's all right. But at least we had Dina as opposed to Cash, because we both and about it this morning.
Yeah.
But that is the big hit, is actually probably, isn't it? So it's Leicester and Everton clean sheet. They're the 2 biggies that very few non-free hitters have got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Everton didn't keep a clean sheet, so
no, for the last
for the last game,
last game of the game week. Yeah. That's why it looks like we're both going to just drop like a stone.
Fair enough. Yeah, some people smashing it out there. Guys in the chat. So Crypto FPL with 68 points with Vardy captain, massive. If there's any other big captains out there, I'm sure somebody has Maddison out there. I see Anthony Hayes on 78 points. That's awesome. And
Monsters, mate.
Someone's on a triple captain on Sun next week, which could be fun.
We should talk about it. We should definitely talk about it.
Yeah. So, just I guess, from an admin point of view, I kind of missed that out. But, the podcast is available on all the normal podcast players. Obviously, we're on YouTube as well. The channel is supported by our good friend Dan, who is in the play to earn crypto space. Go check him out. It's a bit of an interesting market at the moment in crypto. So, it might be a good time to learn. You never know. So, go check him out. And, guys, thanks in the stream. Just drop us a message if you want to ask a question. We had a super chat last week. If you want to throw a super chat our way, we'd be more than grateful.
We don't say no.
We don't say no, exactly. So, cool. So on to this week's games, I guess. Or do you want to look at... Oh, you wanted to look at the scores of this week, really, didn't we?
Just the chips in general for the 36-37. There's just an early probably learn on this one is and just to try and simulate for some people that are out there in terms of how they might have done over the last 2 weeks. I've seen a lots of people talk about when was the best wild card. I don't think the wild card is what did people in or has made people, you have to, wild card is so team dependent of what you're faced into. Like you did it because you suddenly had like 5 players out and it was like, I've got to do it now. I did it because it set me up. I knew I was in a bad place for that 26, 28, 29, and it set me up well and it did okay for it. But there's been loads of people that wildcard in 26 and have done brilliantly through this end period, that did brilliant 28 period, brilliant 29 period. Loads of people that fell away and have now wildcarded late and come on. And I'm like, nobody needs to justify that why their wild card was the best week for it. But chip usage, I think there's a learn in this one is that when everyone's doing it, you should listen. Like I played my wild card in 26, but I didn't have to bench boost in 28. Now my bench boost sounded like it did really well. It did like 28 points, but I had people like Trent and Saka on the bench because I had loads of doublers. So they were my single game week player. The 36 bench boost did brilliantly with people like Foster, on the bench. And as a pair of weeks, if you went into these 2 game weeks with no chips, if you come out of it anything less than 50 points down, you've done pretty well because that's the average. The average no chip points last week was 93, and bench boost, which a third of the game were on last week, come out at an average of 117.
Yeah.
So you lost 25 points basically straight away last week.
Yeah.
And then this week,
similar,
the same, isn't it?
Similar again, isn't it? Yeah. So already you can see, 60% of the game don't have a chip this week on 30 points average. And again, 4 out of 10 people are on in the top 10K are on free hit and they're on 56 points. So yeah, another 26 point swing there. It is significant.
It's and I see a lot of people and they're like, this is unbearable. And I can't admit, like about a week ago, I sort of felt that way myself, but you can't fight it really. The odd person will get away with it because you can get a little bit lucky in it and you can just have the right ones then. But when everyone's got all of the best assets, all of the prime ones they could do, when everyone like this week on free hit was like, I think I can go on Leicester today.
Yeah.
And suddenly went on Vardy and Maddison and you were like, my God, I can't do that. I can't get there. They've done fantastically well. And I see a lot of people like, oh my God, my clean sheet got wiped out. I'm really struggling on 60 points this week. Look at you. The average person, 60% of the game have got no chip and are averaging 30 points. Smashed it. And that's still with a round of games to go. Yeah, that gap could easily get wider, probably will get wider. There's nobody not on free hit. Me and you've just seen our scores. We're only predicted to get worse from here.
Yeah.
So that's going to probably end up something like an effective 60-point swing in 2 weeks. So don't think, oh, I've seen lots of people think, oh, I got the wrong 50-50, or I got, unlucky that I bought this one and stuff like that. You were always on a hiding.
You had to make, I call it the right punt, but you had to be on the right, as you say, the right player. I mean, last week, if you'd have captained KDB, you could have covered a lot of things. Definitely. But I mean, everyone's sitting on arrested Salah. You were never going to punt on KDB because you'd have to replace Salah to do so. You were never going to do it. It didn't make sense to. So, I guess it depended on whether you're sort of ranked chasing or mini league chasing or whatever, of course. But, generally speaking, you weren't going to. And
like I say, isolated will do.
Yeah.
But it's just isolated, because if it was more than isolated, the average would be higher.
Yes.
the average is the average. It's the facts. The fact is 60% of the top 10K this week are averaging 30 points. Yeah. And that does ripple. If you up those to the top 100K, top 250K, top whatever K, that's what it is. So I think those people that had high hopes on the 10K and they're not in it now, like, 10K isn't what it was. I've seen a few of those tweets around and stuff, and it's not. I think Zoff was talking about it should be the top 50K now, is what really it is, and it probably is. And if you really all you think about is that top 10, it can swing against you. And
I think this season, yeah, but this season has been special, right? In the sense that I feel like there's been so many different ways to move with your chips this season compared to previous seasons. And of course, we're caveated with the, with the COVID breaks of this season and last season and stuff. But I don't think on a normal season, you'll find engaged managers be so split between, free hitting in 17, 18, 19, and then, potentially like wild card / triple captain split in like 26, 28, 29, 30. And then you've got wildcarders at 32, 34. You've got bench boosters at 36. You've got some in 28. Free hitters all over the place because we've got 2 of them, and it's just been nuts. And so, that's why it's been as swingy as I've been hearing it called this week as it has been. And I said it last week. I mean, those 4 weeks, 26 to 29, were prime for quite a lot of people just to not burn, but use 4 chips in a row and really try and put a stamp on their position in their OR. And a lot of people gained a lot of rank. Some people, I mean, like yourself, you gained rank. You probably didn't gain as much as you could have done.
Really though, did I? I went from 2K to 1K despite playing 4 chips in 4 weeks. Because
it could and probably should have been bigger.
Yeah.
But still, if you hadn't have played any chips through that period, you'd have gone from 2 to 20.
Well, it depends, because I had a triple captain Salah in 26 rather than normal captain and all the rest of it. Yeah. So I mean, those that triple captain Salah in 26 and then have done. So that's the template strategy, isn't it? The most popular strategy has been that you've triple captain in 26. You've used a free hit. Don't forget, we've had an extra one this season at some point, but then a third of the people saved for this one. Like, I don't think people need to beat themselves up so much over the player picks they've done. I think you need to think about more is that chips actually, because so many people are engaged, have never been more powerful. And boy, if you're going to go for something else, you need to get it right.
Yeah.
You need to get it right.
And KDB was the perfect example last week, because those that did get it right, they got it right massively. I mean, when I say got it right massively, they got a huge jump, like monster jump. in rank, and it hugely paid off. You know, I went from 350k to 79k in 3 weeks because you know, I had decisions that went right. I was on the right side of things, and I got lucky, of course.
So and it's probably not even right, is it? It's probably that they happened in a way, isn't it? Because, like I say, arrested Salah, right? You wouldn't have whatever happens, you wouldn't have expected a 27-point swing effectively.
No.
KDB versus Salah.
No, absolutely.
So that's not. You can't go. I've seen it like, well, I got that. And it's like, actually, you were absolutely right to have KDB for a double. That's definitely what was right. What also compounded it is that others didn't come in and so forth. So, yeah, maybe right's not the right word for anything we've used so far today, but it's still, the point is it has to pay if you want to go against them at the moment, because it's definitely paid when everyone's got in on that. And it's just too much bigger numbers. 4,000 people all playing it, all averaging 25 points more than the average. It's just a swarm.
Yeah.
So that's our learn. Let's go check some games out.
So no titles, no fancy graphics this week. Basically because there was 7 games today, and it was going to be a pain in the backside to do all that. But you know, we thought we'd start with the Tottenham Burnley game because it was the first game of the day. Plus, it's Tottenham, so why the hell not?
It's not even us preferencing it, though, is it? It is just the fact that
it's the first game of the day.
Yeah. I mean,
I didn't even watch the first half, so you tell me about the first half.
So it ends up, what is it? 2.3 XG versus 0.8. And Tottenham, I think, as a starting point, is that Burnley just sat in. So they played 3 at the back. They effectively tried to copy the Brighton way of playing the 3-5-2, sit in. They literally copied man for man how they would play against it.
It was so different to, I guess in that respect, it's so different to how they've set up in the last 3 or 4 weeks, where they've come out to have some fun and try and attack teams. And I kind of hoped pre-game that they would try something similar in smaller bursts, I guess, to allow gaps for us to exploit. But that didn't really happen.
And then it's clever, but I thought that Tottenham, who really struggled against low block teams, and there was a thing after Mike Jackson was pretty annoyed about the penalty, but I think he was more annoyed. There was a lot of talk about the fact that he literally spent all week drilling into them. This is how to play Tottenham. This is how to play Tottenham. This is how to play Tottenham. They had 8 days to prepare for it. It was all done. And when you get done by a VAR penalty, it must feel harsh when you spent all that time working to try and do a snatch and grab. But fair play to them. So they set up really, really well. But Tottenham, I thought, played better than I've ever seen them play against a low block. They really worked hard, worked and moved for it. Just not as good when Lucas Moore's on the pitch to Kulusevski's on the pitch. And that's just what it is, you know, and how they did. But Sessegnon was good. Really good game in general.
And getting better he is as well. Like with each game's coming, that fun at the end of the season couldn't come at a worse time, I think, for him.
No. And Son was just always in the box. Always was the forward at all times. Doesn't mean that Kane wasn't the forward, because he was still doing the same thing that he was doing midweek, where he did lots of backing in, and he's up there because they're on a low block, 3 centre-backs. But they chugged away. Then they gave away one off chance at the other end. You can see that on the XG. There's a one. That's the literally only chance of the first half. And then it carried on. And then there's a stupid penalty, really. And it's stupid because it doesn't feel like a proper penalty, but definition is it's a penalty. Guy's got his arm in a weird place. As soon as you've got arm in a weird place, if it hits it, you're giving away a penalty. So just is what it is. Kane's penalty, you just don't see a better penalty ever taken. It's just unbelievable how good that penalty is. The
irony being we were being asked, you know, would Kane give up penalties to Son for Golden Boot race? You know, I thought it would only be if the game was clear. You came out and said, well, we've only had. I think you came out with a meme with a caption on Kane. It was like, we've only had 3 penalties in all season, and we've had 2 in 2 now.
2-2, amazing. Which apparently is a
Incredible.
conspiracy. I've seen there's quite a bit of Arsenal conspiracy about the fact there are 2 penalties, and saying that just in our lovely friend Mike in the chat. Yeah, hi Mike. And then second half, the 2 saves from Pope, Son. I don't even understand them.
No.
I don't even understand. His hands must be so strong to have kept out. That first one was just phenomenal. The second one was just a reflex, but he does it with his bicep. Literally saves it with his bicep, and it's a real, move to it.
Yeah.
And both of them, you were just like, well, that's in. No, it's not in. So me and you, who captain Son, we just got done by Pope.
Yeah. And I didn't get enough save. Well, I got a few saves from him because I've got him. So I got a few saves from him, but yeah, painful.
Over 2 XG against a low block, who stayed a low block all game, is good news. That's progress for Tottenham. That's massive progress in a way for Tottenham. I wouldn't, none of it, a blank on Son today would put me off captaining him next weekend.
No. Absolutely. So where are we going next?
We are going next to, where was the next game? What's the next game on the ticker?
There were 4 or 5 games all at 2:00.
Aston Villa Crystal Palace is what the game was on the game week is.
You on that one? Okay, hold on.
Let's do that because that's the way in the order of.
I don't even know what I'm doing there. Hold on. I don't even know what I'm doing.
There we go. We had a lot of games to cover.
I've got it.
I mean, you're going to walk away from this thinking, because of the point situation, Dina and Watkins are much better picks than Cash and Ings. A lot of people captain Ings. A lot of people brought Cash in because he's slightly more expensive than Dina. So you immediately think he's better because he's a little bit more expensive. And look, Ings, if you start with Ings, had 2 perfect chances for Danny Ings. Literally perfect. Is one set up by Watkins. I think the other one was like a deflection that came to him, but both of them full open body, 18 yards out, front of the goal. You just thought he's putting that top corner. And he snatched them both. What Ings doesn't do is the running. Ollie Watkins. If we knew Ollie Watkins is fit, I wouldn't have even hesitated. He definitely would have been my captain this week. That was my plan all along, was Ollie Watkins was captain for this week. But as soon as we thought he's not necessarily not. But you can see how important he is to the team. He's absolutely getting benched midweek now, isn't he? Now I've said this.
Well, let's hope not.
But he's so crucial to them. There's no striker that runs as hard, causes as much grief as Ollie Watkins does. Is an absolute terror to them. He was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I thought Coutinho is still very, very peripheral. People have got I think people are just going to move whatever you've got of Aston Villa. You're going to move at least one on, but I'd be tempted to play Watkins in any game. I thought Antonio caused some real big trouble to City today, and I've got no issue with playing Watkins next week. Coutinho is just a move straight on next week.
Fair enough. I mean, I'm not considering playing Watkins next week, mainly because I've got the double City defence as well, so it doesn't really make any sense for me to do so.
Yeah,
I'm not in the.
It depends who you got to play instead.
True, I'm not in the. I don't like hedging though, not really, especially in like one-off game weeks.
We're not allowed to talk about hedging, mate, because apparently that's dissuading people.
But talking of which, Zaha was probably unlucky today to not get something. Palace were pretty good from what I saw. So I think
first half they were miles the better team.
Yeah,
Palace. Miles the better team. Really were. Bit of quality from Dina. That ball was fantastic. Bit of conjecture about whether it was Watkins or Gahey's point, and you start worrying with the commentator, because the commentator basically says it's an own goal and the camera goes straight to the defender and you're like, they're going to give this an own goal, despite the fact Watkins is adamant, mate. Like, you see him, he's just like there, he's doing his W sign, he's absolutely all over it, and I'm like, fair play, mate, if you've not scored this, because you've gone big on it. And then there's one angle from the back and you can clearly see he gets his foot between the two legs and puts it in. Done the business, mate. Got us a point, and it'd be interesting to see what they do midweek.
Yeah,
but I think Ings captains. I think I'd be a little nervous after he came off that he might get a rest in the week. I don't expect Watkins to get a rest because I just think he's crucial.
Too fit.
Too fit. Can't keep the man down. Where is next? Any more on that? Palace, what would you do? Would you move it? Would you move Zaha on if you bought him?
No, not a chance. I think United's a perfect game for him. I mean, obviously, United have had a long rest and a long break, but it's a home game, last day of the season. I'd fancy Zaha in that game. I really would. I think he's a really good option for it. And if I had brought him in, which I had considered, I'd definitely be playing him next week for sure.
Yeah, he's a handful, and I still think anyone who's got Zaha or any of the Villa assets, I think they're more fun fixtures next one. So I wouldn't be too worried. I think Everton away after their madness today, just get people sent off and all sorts. And the Burnley game is, I can't see that Burnley try and do what they did against Tottenham.
No. I'd expect them to. They're going to need to score, right? They're going to need to score goals. So
yeah.
Well, they're going to need to win. They don't need to score goals as such, because only one goes down, right? And Leeds,
exactly,
from a goal difference point of view, are complete wasters. So
yeah, and it could be off. That could be last game. So definitely, go keep Zaha. Leeds Brighton. The next.
Leeds Brighton. Yes.
The thing with Potter is he just messaged you about, doesn't he? Because tell us, you brought Trossard in this week, which I loved.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you bring Trossard in?
Because he's in good form. They're in a confident place, Brighton generally. They'd created something like 10 or 11 big chances in the last 6 games, and Leeds had conceded pretty much the same amount in the last 6. Why else? Rafinha, bad defensively. Wouldn't expect him to be very good defensively. And their right back had just been sent off just a game ago. So that left-hand side looked weak. So I figured that Trossard, a man in form, would be a good pick against a weak Leeds left side. Or Leeds is right, but yeah, that side. So I thought from a punt point of view, it might be worth going in there. And yeah, it didn't quite pay off. I got a clean sheet out of it, which was nice. But
he stuck him at
left wing back
again.
Yeah.
Which some games he does that, like the Man United did that, and he got forward a lot.
Yeah. And even the Tottenham game as well. I mean,
even the Tottenham one.
The frustrating thing was, I looked at even like Alexis McAllister and Pascal Gross as well, and I just felt that I just didn't feel like I could trust those players in the same way that I felt I could trust Trossard.
Yeah.
But
it's just Potter, man. It's just Potter. You just can't fully trust him. Cucurella got 2 bonus again today, mate, in a 1-1 draw.
Yeah.
He's just game week 1.
Oh, I can't believe I didn't mention this from you saying about bonus. You see Sanchez got all 3 bonus for Tottenham. I messaged you that. He got like 1 assist and
the clean sheet.
And the clean sheet. But that's 21. He got 44 on the bonus.
Mate.
That right centre-back position for Tottenham just...
Sessegnon got 35 on the bonus without a return.
Mental.
So that's 23 baseline. 23 baseline from Sessegnon today. That's a huge number.
Yeah, same as Sanchez. Monster.
Huge.
Anyway.
Huge number.
Sorry, digressing.
Back. God, we're such a Tottenham biased pod and can't help ourselves.
Oh, God, we got a comment last week saying, I don't know whether you pick a direction, which is fair feedback. But we will tend to just go back to it. Anyway, Leeds Brighton. Sorry,
Leeds
Cucurella.
Brighton.
Bonus monster, game week 1. Get him in.
Just get him in. Please 5 million, get him in.
Yeah, it'd be cheap enough. I think I want to see fixtures, but okay.
Even if they concede, he got 2 bonus today.
True, but yeah, I think it depends on fixtures though, because they're playing like a Leeds. They're playing Leeds here.
Yeah. Or maybe after the fixture. But if the fixtures are even slightly okay, he's in.
Okay, fair enough.
He's in. Watford, Leicester.
Oh. Comes to pain.
So Watford, did like 9 changes last week or something, didn't they?
Yeah, something stupid.
Did you even look at the press conference for Watford this week of what was going on or what they had?
No idea. No clue.
Didn't look at it, didn't think about it. And then yesterday I suddenly saw 3 hitters talking about getting double Leicester in, having no one mentioned them at all. Suddenly it was like, oh, we're going to get double Leicester. And I was like, oh, everyone's getting double Leicester, are they?
Well, because they've got Chelsea. The thing is, I think the reason they've gone under the radar or not been discussed before was that obviously they got Chelsea in the other game in the double. So people had looked at doubles like Villa and Burnley and Palace and all this sort of stuff and gone, well, that's where I want to be, rather than Leicester, who have got Chelsea. But yeah, I did see a few of those.
I saw people take him out today because we didn't get Sam Martin's lineup, and that's definitely a lesson for me. Like, again, ticking off some lessons for me. I think we're so spoilt with leaks now. Everyone's watching Andy's stream to see if they can get a leak in the morning. Everyone can do this. Is people like Villa with like FPL Villain and Team News and Ticks and all these different people that leak things. Is that sometimes if we don't get a leak, we don't make the decision. Yeah. So I thought Salah was going to get benched week before last, whatever it was, but I still brought him in over Son, despite the fact. So I stopped thinking about what's the best fixture and what's the likely outcome. Similar in this one, really, with Leicester, like, because Sam Martin didn't know.
Yeah,
I went, I'm not sure if I want to play around with them.
Yeah,
but the fact is they were playing Watford, and actually you spend less time nowadays thinking about what the matchup is, and the matchup is Watford.
It does feel a bit silly, given that
terrible.
Oh, it does. I mean, it's quite hindsighty, but given that they played Norwich last week as well, I mean, like, we really should have had some Leicester.
Yeah, me and you have played no free hit for these last 2 weeks. Like, what was we doing?
Yeah, why did we have no Leicester?
Yeah, so I do think there's a bit on there of like, we wait for it.
Yeah, I'll give a shout to Sharik as well, who's on. So if you know FPL Sharik from some spaces, I tell you what, I've never met a more confident person in his own opinion than Sharik. It's hilarious. But he was there saying, I want Maddison for Norwich. He said, I don't even care if he gets rotated in the first game following the Europa League. I want Maddison, I want Schmeichel for Norwich. That's why I get him in. And then I'll have him for 37. They've got Watford. Everyone around him was like, okay, mate, yeah, good, calm, just relax. And and then smashed it. Vardy's coming. I think he had Vardy as well. So yeah, fair play to him. I mean, that's a sort of good punt. And I think it's logical as well. So
well, the Schmeich's owners, mate, they've been done.
Yeah.
So he didn't play. And then his comment, so let me read the comment. Rodgers on starting Ward over Schmeichel. When we came out of Europe, I told Casper that I would play him in 3 games and Wardy in 2. Danny was supposed to play today and versus Norwich, but he felt his knee, so we didn't want to expose him. So what he doesn't say there is that, is it now 4 and 1? Or is it still going to be 3 and 2? That's what we don't know.
Yeah. Because if it's 3 and 2, then he could play next week or final game. I can't see him playing last game of the season, surely.
I can't see.
Are they home last game? They're home last game.
Home to Southampton last game of the season.
That's a catch.
So Schmeichel is definitely playing that last game.
Yeah.
So if he honours the 3 and 2, then he's playing him.
Yeah.
It on Thursday night. So, and then there's a lot of people. 35% of the game have got Schmeichel currently in their team. And do you know what the sad bit is? I reckon the 35% are all non-free hitters.
The
poor bastards.
Well, they're all sitting there, with Foster on the bench.
They're all sitting there with Foster on the bench because they bench boosted him last week and he got 0 points.
Yeah. Ouch.
Ouchie. But the thing with Leicester, we've said it all season. Games start 1-1.
Mm-hmm. Like that XG, that 2.6 versus 2. That's mad. It's just a madness game.
Nearly 5 XG between the pair for the game. Weird. This is the Opta stats, and it's got like Leicester at 2.5 and Watford at 2.1. But I saw another one which had like, I think Infogol had like Watford at 2.5 and Leicester at 1.7 or something.
Oh, really?
So don't really know the deal of it, but what you do know is that, hey, Foster's off at the end of the season. He's done. And he just can't move, and he just got a load of rubbish in front of him. They're just...
Yeah, Understat has it 2.6 Watford, 2.3 Leicester. So, yeah.
Yeah, weird. Yeah. Weird on some of these ones, but it's the same old deal, mate. The chances they did give up were massive.
Yeah.
Just massive, and Vardy just loves it.
Yeah.
They're a genuine... If you're chasing... Think of all these players that have got Vardy and Maddison. So those players people that did bring him in for 36, 37, that didn't have a chip. Going one of those as cap on 38. If Vardy, for example, misses out in the Chelsea game, like if they do lots of changes and leave them out on Thursday night, one of those two is a really fun captain in 38 home to Southampton.
There's a hat-trick there.
There's a hat-trick.
There's a hat-trick there from Vardy. He does love it. He loves it at home.
What was they scored 9 against Southampton, didn't they? In the rain, man got sent off after about 10 minutes, the Friday night game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And didn't he get 4 or something?
Yeah, something like that. He got lots.
He definitely got a hat-trick. Maddison and Vardy, I remember at the time, I didn't have either of them. I remember they literally double my rank in a game. So there's some fun if you want that 38 fun on a Leicester punt last game of the season. Yeah.
Yep. So just before we move on to the next game, I'm just going to take a couple of questions from the chat, if you don't mind. So Mateus has said, just going back to Tottenham, what are your thoughts on a Sessegnon Son Kane triple up for free hit 38? Personally, love it. I really like it. So Sessegnon gets in great positions, continually, and Son and Kane are our two biggest threats. So, yeah, love it. I think I love it.
He's cool now, Sess, in that he's...
It's that run of games.
It's calmness. There's a calmness and method to his attacking positions. Someone asked me the other day about should we do Royal or Sessegnon. I said, look, Royal ends up in some mad places, in some all sorts of unorthodox things, and he ends up getting chances just because he's so unorthodox. Whereas Sess, you're like, I'm not sure he's ever going to do it. He's not really got the confidence of it, but at some point it will happen. Today felt the first time like he was like, I own this shirt now.
Yeah, it did feel a bit like that in the second half, definitely from what I saw. Yeah.
Next question.
The next question is, it's just FPL River saying keep Zaha for 38. Mike saying make sure you give the stream a like. Agree with that.
Agree with that, mate. Agree with that.
And Joe Finley Bardas just says Mount differential captain in 38, which is interesting. I mean, it's definitely differential.
Should we go back to the Chelsea-Liverpool FA Cup final then before this?
We can do that. Let's just pull that up. Hold on 1 second. And there it is.
So FA Cup final. Salah. Let's just assume, because we're Sunday, like we can't make this up and work through this. Let's just assume that Salah doesn't play on the weekend. Let's go with that because it's more fun. Roughly a third of the game have KDB. We think we don't 100% know that because we don't know how many free hitters in 36 brought in KDB. And it's really hard this week to guess any ownerships because a third of the game's on free hit.
Yeah.
But last week, a third of the game had Son. So you're guessing that, people probably didn't have, if they weren't on free hit, they definitely didn't have KDB, Son and Salah, did they?
No.
So I think we're in a position here where there's now going to be a third of the game that still have Salah. And that's when they're basically nailed on that their transfer is Salah out.
Yeah, I think I'd say it's probably about 40% still have Salah. And the reason I say that, I'm pretty sure he was about 15% owned, 10% owned in the top 10K this week.
Yeah.
Effectively. A few people just sleeping on that one. But with if you say that a third of the game's on free hit, that would be everyone would have taken him out on free hit. So yeah.
But they've all got him coming back, basically.
Assuming so, yeah.
Yeah. Like bar the odd 1 out of 1,000. Yeah. Everyone's got Salah.
Fair enough.
He was 108% owned the week before. They've got him.
Yes.
And let's just, like I say, if somehow he does play in 38, you've got a monster differential. So that I would just captain Salah, like just simply that last game of the season. You've got him. It's a phenomenal option that you might have home to Wolves. And the thoughts are that it was relatively precaution, but it is groin, which is tight. And then you've got Champions League. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know whether you want to risk that leading up to the Champions League.
I don't know, but that you don't want to die wondering, do you? If you're Liverpool, like we're in a position now where if Man City, imagine Man City drop points and Leicester and Liverpool didn't win that last game, you know, is I think they'll rest less than maybe they should have done.
They'll know what to do with Salah, because Salah obviously played yesterday, and they're going to get him ready. If he's not ready in 8 days for a Sunday game, their Champions League game is 6 days later. So if he's taken 7 days to recover and he's fine for that 8th day, do you think they're going to risk him if his groin goes again with the Champions League 6 days away, knowing that it takes 7 days for him to recover from it last time? I can't see that. You know, he might take him on the bench and say, you know, we might need 30 minutes from you, 20 minutes from you if we need to win the game to win the league. But I unless we see something early in the week of him training, I would assume that he's not going to play.
Yeah, I think
that's probably the safest way to go.
The beauty with Salah is that he plays for Liverpool, who are the easiest to get leaks from.
Yeah, true.
So I suspect we get some kind of inkling.
Yeah.
I suspect we get some kind of inkling on that one. So you either get Salah, and I think people mentally might be thinking, this is a fantastic opportunity for me to cap Salah. But then we've also got a huge number of Chelsea assets coming back. And that's a big game on Thursday. Chelsea need to get something out of it. Just need the 1 point, and then that's them ticked off.
Yeah.
They might not need anything, though, if Newcastle take points tomorrow night.
Yeah.
But, you know, people like Alonso, James, Mount, they're all about 40% owned.
Yeah.
They're going to come into team. So I'm really scared of Mount in 38 at 40% owned coming in, because he's a fantastic option. He is, you know, we just had a thing in the chat, but someone said a differential cap option. You see how, like, Watford today, you see what Maddison did, and you're thinking that feels like Mount territory. A lot of the chances that Watford conceded were down that right. Yeah. James could be.
KDB was a 40% owned asset last week.
Yeah.
I'll just putting that out there. This won't be as big a swing, obviously, because it's not double, but
it could happen.
Yeah, you can.
James and Mount are capable of 20 point hauls next week.
Yeah,
they're potential fun captain options. Alonso's capable of it. There's some good fun.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen less from James from an attacking threat than I've seen more from Alonso. Definitely, I think if I was to pick between the two, I'd probably want Alonso out the two. But
what do you think about 38? About bringing in players that are explosive, but also might not play when you've only got 1 game week. So you're bringing him in, and there's a chance that you bring him in, you use your one last transfer, and it doesn't get used. So if you think about a James, any Chelsea player, in fact, especially because they play Thursday night, if you brought in, say, a Mahrez, a Foden, a lot of us are looking at that option, aren't we? A lot of us have brought in a Coutinho or a £7 million midfield or something around that space. We've got one where we're like, I could move that one on, and that would be my transfer this week. How do you feel about rotation risks?
Personally, but you know how I play, so I'm not really. I would probably take the risk on something like that. I think you've got 1 game week punt. Unless I see something that could be a potentially a double digit, and I get this. I think I'd need the security of minutes as well. That's where I'd maybe like hit. Maybe. I think that's probably the only place I'd hit, is if I had a security of minutes and explosivity as well. Explosivity on its own, yeah, I'm good for that for a transfer. Maybe not for a hit. I just don't. Again, I think a lot of it again is going to be mini league or OR dependent. Whether you're going to be chasing or defending and whatever else. So, I think stick to the good teams that play crap teams. I think might be a good shout. I think if you're going to protect, I mean, like what fixtures? Hold on, I've got the fixtures here. So if what teams are you going to target if you want to protect your rank? Spurs, obviously, more than anything. Liverpool, definitely would be one as well, and Chelsea, I guess. Those three would probably be the top three. Villa can cause City problems. Okay, Leicester could go mad against Southampton, but again, I'm not really thinking about that. Arsenal, Everton. I mean, that's going to be chaos. I could imagine. Well, it could be. It depends on what happens with the Everton game in midweek, of course. So I think we're, as Tottenham fans, kind of hoping that Newcastle get something, because I'm a little bit less confident that Everton are going to do something on the last day unless they absolutely have to. If they have to, then that's more fun. But if they don't have to, I think that that could be be quite a straightforward win for Arsenal, unfortunately.
Liverpool, I think a lot of people will take a punt on maybe one of their midfielders.
But like a Jota or a Diaz, and
whichever one doesn't play, won't it? Midweek, basically. Yeah. But Tuesday to Sunday is a long time, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, you could just play them, just roll them out again. And if I guess Firmino just brings in a different angle on it, doesn't he? Really, just kind of throws it in there. Like now we have got this guy back, because otherwise you could have gone Jota or Diaz, and I think you'd have been fine. Yeah.
I tell you, I don't like. There's actually loads from that cup final that I quite like. Lukaku, but how do you get there? Because how can you take?
Because you don't take Kane out. Or
don't
Vardy.
take Kane out. You don't take Vardy out.
Yeah.
I just don't see it that people do it, but that's probably one of the reasons why it's a good one, because it could be massive. I do think Trent might be a good captain in 38. Just watching him yesterday, and also watching him without Salah there, I felt like he was much more threatening without Salah there. He was probably his most menacing I've seen him for a long time. In the first 18 game weeks where he was just absurd. But yesterday, I was like, he's on it. I mean, SofaScore averaged him at like 8.6 for the game, but 13 crosses in a game, 2 shots blocked. He had, he 4 key passes. He could be a 20-pointer.
Yeah. Just you can't have them all, though, can you?
Can't have them all, but you're not going to gain out of Liverpool. If you only got one Liverpool defender next week, you ain't going to gain. Not in that Liverpool game. Because
a lot of people would have had Trent Robbo from 36 and probably carrying one, or if they free hit 37, they're bringing them straight back in.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. This is the thing. Like, these guys have won so big, the 36, 37 bench boost free hitters, because they're now going to waltz back into in 38. Double Chelsea defence home to Watford and double Liverpool defence home to Wolves.
And we were saying this in 36, weren't we, when we were trying to plan for that week? Those fixtures
absolutely battered it.
Swing back in. So
that's monster. So there's some really big options. Alonso, James, Mount, Lukaku, your Jota, Diaz, Mane. Some people might just go, I'm going to go Salah to Mane.
Yeah, fair enough.
Would not back against it. I think that. Do you think Mane takes a penalty if they get one? If Milner's not on the pitch, Fabinho might be injured. So if there wasn't, I think Fabinho and Milner would be the first 2 choices if Salah's not there. I'd have said Mane would be the one, because he takes them for his country, to the prime, ones. But he then missed
yesterday.
He then missed yesterday.
Yeah, I don't think that causes a problem if they wanted him to take it. I'm just trying to think who else would take it. I mean, I would. Yeah, I don't know why someone like Trent wouldn't take a penalty. I mean, they're good penalty takers generally, aren't they?
I mean, Reece James's penalty was beautiful. Just
so calm.
So calm, but good techers with it as well. Like, it wasn't just, did it in there. So there's some fun from that game. We shouldn't have missed them out. So we thought we'd cover them.
Yeah.
Where did we get up to?
We've
City.
done We can do
West Ham
City.
West Ham City.
Yeah.
Should we just rule out we're not going to do Wolves Norwich?
Yeah, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, we won't bother with that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because I think that one comes into discussion for them. Mahrez misses a penalty.
That puts him back on KDB.
There's the big boy option for captain. There's the big boy option for captain, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he can do so weird things, KDB, because he was so in the face against Wolves.
But he was in a completely different position.
This is my frustration about myself for the KDB and 36 is that I messaged someone and basically said to him I'm pretty sure against Wolves he likes to play 4-2-4 and KDB will play centre forward. I didn't bring KDB in, and that's exactly how he played against them. And I was like, why didn't I do it? I contemplated it and just didn't do it. But then, like you say, I think it is fixture dependent. I think KDB does do a lot of what Pep tells him. I think, is some quotes from KDB this week about his sort of relationship with Pep and how he says very similar and how they're just obsessive about the game. And I do think he is that way, that if Pep said, this is where I need you, this is where it'll go. But I can't help but feel last game of the season is Big Game Kev. He's called Big Game Kev, mate.
Yeah, no, he is. No, but as you say, he played in a completely different position today. Granted, it was against a completely different opposition, as you say, but he's always going to be effective when he plays in the centre of that 4-3-3 or 4-2-4 or whatever you want to call it. However they line up, and he was playing a lot more central today, and just felt he wasn't spending most of his time around the D, which you'd want him to be.
So we know, I don't know what his actual baseline was today, but we know it was less than 15.
Yeah.
Because 15 is the lowest on the out of the 5 players for City, and that's not him in it. That's an unbelievably low baseline for a guy when they were losing a game. But he's won out there because he defies logic a little bit in a way. KDB, doesn't it? He scored 4 goals from 0.8 xG last week.
I'm just wondering if I can bring up the difference in heat maps on SofaScore between yesterday, between today, and between the game against Wolves, just to show the discrepancy.
What about
I can do that quickly?
Because I think this is the decision for a lot of players this week is a Mount or a Diaz or a Jota or a Foden. Bear in mind, Foden didn't play this today. I thought Grealish has been low-key good. I thought it was good when he came off on the Champions League, despite the fact they went out. I thought it was good again today. I wasn't sure about Jesus today, so I can see Foden. Yeah, Jesus. But I can see that Foden plays that last game. I just can't see him missing out.
Yeah.
Is this the moment for Foden to stand up and say he's the main man, especially with Haaland coming in next season?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether anyone in that City team can stand up apart from maybe KDB and say I'm the main man, because just because of the way they play, everything's so shared around. I just can't see it. So let me just see what I can do here with this. See if I can just just do it on the fly, shall I?
On the fly, bring it up.
Okay, look, I'm just going to move. Oh no, I'm not doing that. Oh, terrible at this.
So the main captains next week are basically KDB and Son, aren't they? They're the main two.
Yeah.
I think most people, if they've got Kane and Son, are going to captain Son. Can't blame them. I also like the idea of captaining a midfielder over captaining a striker, just because we've got so many midfielders that can haul with braces and the like. And that's what you want from your final day captain.
There you go. That is the worst editing you'll ever see, but there's...
I love it. I love it.
I mean, he's just everywhere, isn't he? Really,
he's everywhere all the time. I don't think you can really tell from KDB, but you can get a feel from KDB. Is in that last 20 minutes when they were chasing the game, I kept expecting to see KDB go in the bench into the box, and I'm watching it thinking, I don't want you to go in the box because you're 50% owned and I don't have you. You might have watched it completely opposite to that. But that's how I was watching it. And I was like, oh, this is okay. They're on the attack and KDB's not even in the picture.
Yeah.
I was more like excited that Cancelo was in the picture. Cancelo was like playing number 10 for most of the game today. I don't know what the hell was going on there.
Yeah. I found, especially in the late part of those games, and even when they were trying to chase that last goal and whatever, you'd see Cancelo on the ball on the right hand side of the edge of the box, and there'd be no one in the box at all. Like literally no one. It's not even just no KDB. It's like no one. Literally no one. It was bizarre.
Well, they can't have that going into that last game week. They've got to win that game. And to be fair, look, they would have won today if Mahrez, who looked proper nervous. Like if they will replay that, and you'll see his face. That to me says you can't put him on penalties last game of the season. He was puffing. He looked so nervous. And he never looks nervous normally, but he looked like it got to him because he knew, score this, it's over.
Yeah.
That's it. They had the chance. It's not there now. They've got to win that last game. I don't know he can trust Mahrez in that last game. I think Foden and Sterling come in. Sterling's a fun punt for last day of the season.
It's all fun, mate. It's all fun.
There's so many ways people can go with this Salah money. There's so many ways. Like, as I said, a third of the game have got it and they can go away. It's like Vardy won this week, isn't it? That people were able to go somewhere that the non-free hitters can go. Free hitters now get another advantage that they can go somewhere with Salah that nobody else managed to go. And that might be Salah himself. So...
Yeah, I think also just remember that, if you do punt, that's great, but there will be other punts that come off for other people, right? So Sterling might pop off, and you might have KDB, and that's okay. And someone might have Mane. Not all of them are going to come off. So just try and just expect madness, basically.
Talking of madness. So we're going to skip Wolves Norwich, which is the last one, which is Everton Brentford.
Yes.
The madness.
Yeah. Yeah.
What can you say?
I don't know. I think you were probably a bit unlucky not to get the Richarlison. Richarlison was probably a bit unlucky not to get that first one as it came off of Calvert-Lewin's right nipple.
Yeah. I was gutted about not getting the Gordon assist. I was fuming.
Yeah. See that's it. That's what probably cost people. But you could see he was adamant that he got the touch on it.
Yeah, he was. He knew.
He telling the ref. It's my goal.
Which I enjoyed. I liked that. That's what you want to see. We just have to. Anybody who's got Everton people just need to make a decision on the weekend of what you do, because a lot of people have brought Richarlison in now, and I've got him. I think you just leave him for the Arsenal game. He can do mad stuff in any game. Actually, I would say Richarlison, I was really impressed with the way that he then stuck out on the left wing and caused a lot of trouble once they went to 10 men. I thought he worked really hard. Stupid penalty, stupid game, stupid red cards. Just stupid. Pickford's still playing really well. I'd have no qualms about playing Pickford against Arsenal in the last game of the season. But just stay with it. What about Tony? Because a lot of people, I think, were looking at maybe Tony.
It's a template move from Richarlison, Watkins to Tony. Yeah. A bit surprised that he wasn't more involved today. Saying that a lot of what they did came from set pieces as well, which I guess normally he's relatively involved in, but I guess it's just the like anything, like the luck of where the players are at the time in the move. And I mean the Coleman own goal was just I think it was a set piece beforehand, and then obviously Whistler at the back post.
Yeah.
Trying to cross it back in. Obviously, it just hits Coleman and goes past Pickford, which is unlucky. The second goal was a well worked corner, something that Tottenham could have used doing with Eriksen when he used to not beat the first man. He actually run across the front post. It's
Eriksen was so
clever
good,
idea
mate, in this game, mate.
It's great.
Eriksen with space is a beautiful thing to see. And as soon as they went down to 10 men, he had the space, and then he just absolutely bossed it. Again, 20 on the baseline for him today. And he had a few chances. He could have scored.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about him. Eriksen. I think Eriksen's a more fun punt than Tony for that last game of the season now.
Okay.
Because anyone can get to him from any midfielders.
This is true. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's for me. I don't think it's for me, but
we've only got one left, haven't we? We've only got one left. But if everything's all perfect and then I still think Tony's a good move. But would I move off of Charleston to Tony? Probably no. Would I move off Watkins to Tony? Yes, if you've got nothing else.
Yeah. It's an easy move. I still think it's going to be the easy move for the week anyway. I guess Salah's just the one that's creating the issue for those coming back off of a free hit, because they're going to stick 13 million on the bench. Very much doubt it. So yeah, luxury move.
Yeah, it's a lot. But it's a fun move. I mean, defensively, like I say, is City were 130% owned in defence going into 36. Liverpool were about 120, and Chelsea were about 80. Mm-hmm. Tottenham are probably about 70% owned in attack. That's probably where we're at going into this game week. And all four teams have got very favourable fixtures.
Yeah.
So you're going to expect to take a beating from City defence. You're going to expect to take a beating from Liverpool defence. You can expect, if you haven't got them, certainly if you only got one, it's a problem. Mike's just mentioned you could go for Eddie against Everton, a bit cheaper than Tony. You could. I probably would go Tony.
Yeah, I'm not touching an Arsenal player in game week 38, but you definitely could.
We do nothing to dispel the bias. No, absolutely nothing to it. I was trying to talk up Chelsea defenders, for God's sake, and all the rest of them. So, we get something. I don't think I would go Nketiah. I definitely would start Nketiah if I had him. And a lot of people have got him, haven't they, from their 36 squad?
Yeah.
And so, there's that as well. He was 50% owned in Nketiah. So he will be about 50%.
So he will he will be owned quite highly.
It's a good point. He will be about 50% owned going into that game week. I forget that. People just got to work their own stuff out, but I'm not bothered about helping people win the mini league. We're here to look at the games and think, how do we play that out? And I feel like Everton will fight pretty hard, and I feel like Pickford's in
if they need to. Form. Is that if they need to? Because of this, you feel like they've worked hard to the point where they can not chuck themselves on the beach or whatever we want to call it. But do you think there's going to be? You think there's going to be there'll be a small hangover from Thursday? When did they play? Wednesday, Thursday. There'll be a small hangover from that if they manage to secure safety. So they might not be on their peak fitness. So it could be a bit of a walkover for Arsenal. I think. I think that'll be quite a comfortable win for Arsenal, unfortunately, and that's why I say, Newcastle need to do something tomorrow for us. Sorry. Yeah,
I think Palace beat Everton though. That's my thoughts. I thought Palace were a good team today against Villa.
And they are a good team. Like technically, they're a good team. Structurally, they're a good team. Vieira's got them playing good football. They're creating better chances than they have done in previous seasons, and they're just a better team all round. I think
Vieira showed, in my opinion, that he's probably ahead of Gerrard in his progress, and I think he's ahead of Frank.
Yeah.
So I do expect him to turn them over. But if Everton do turn them over, like you say, Arsenal probably get a very easy win. So maybe Nketiah, but I don't know. Can you really bring Nketiah in as your last game week transfer?
No, I wouldn't want to do it.
Have some fun, boys.
You want me to be objective? No, I wouldn't want to do it.
No, just don't. Just don't like it.
I just think there's higher upside elsewhere. I mean,
Yeah.
say that. You say that. Can you see him scoring 2 against Everton?
He did against Leeds, mate, and he's greedy.
So could you see him scoring 3? Is that not enough upside? Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably is, to be fair. 50. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that, though? He gets 3 goals. What's that? 12, 14, 17 points?
Yeah.
50% owned. You want 8.5 points against you immediately? Ouch. It's going to hurt, actually.
Nketiah has a good chance that he hurts a lot.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
The last thing in the tail for the 36 bench boosters.
Yeah, indeed. So I think that's pretty much everything. I mean, if there's any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat now. I think we've got 63 people watching now. I don't know off the top of my head. Well, I'm looking. Sure. It says 63 concurrent viewers. I have no idea what that means. Whether it means there's actually people watching, or you're all just sitting there not watching. I don't know. But as I say, next week we won't be able to do a stream, so it'd be good if you did have any questions for 38, if you chucked them in now.
Well, if they don't, mate, they can just message us. We've been here an hour and 10. That'll do us. But yeah, we're there. We've made it through the season, mate.
We've done all right. Obviously I've had a lot better season than last year in terms of rank. I've obviously had to get a bit lucky in the last few weeks to do that, but we had a graphic shared with us in a little chat that we're in on basically my rank versus your rank, and I guess this is probably something we're gonna maybe discuss next week. But given that your rank has been pretty consistent throughout the season, and mine has been the opposite of consistent, from a psychological point of view, do you think you've had more fun? You've enjoyed it? You've had the better rank all year, but do you think you've probably enjoyed it more than I have? And I know that's obviously difficult with both of us maybe enjoying it in a different way, but...
Yeah, it's been different. It's been weird. So, there's every chance I'll finish this week for my highest rank of the entire season. To start at 26k and then never get above 26k has been weird. That's just the only way to describe it. It's been weird. To never have oh my God, I've dropped 100,000 places or gained 100,000 places in a week. It's been weird. It really has been weird. But I just like the football. Yeah. So therefore is for me and that's part of my thinking is I want to explore over the summer of how can I remove sort of layers of check-in, layers of pressure, layers of things that might cause me bias on my decisions. Is I like football, so therefore I want to do stuff that makes me think more in a football state than it does necessarily about what's everyone else doing, because otherwise I feel like it's not really using me, in that sense. If I'm always looking at what everyone else is doing and that's what's making my decisions a little bit. So things around ownership, things around those things. So like you say, it's because I've known where my rank is all the time and I've known I've been up there. I don't think I have enjoyed it as much as possible because I've been like grinding.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'd never known it, I think I'd have had the most fun season on earth.
Yeah.
To have a 38 game weeks and my worst rank be 26k, that should be the most fun season anyone's ever had.
Yeah, true.
And it doesn't really feel that way. So I would like to try and find a way to make it more fun.
I wanted to try and make it sound like this wasn't completely dickish, but do you think like people that captain Salah at 200, people that triple captain Salah or whatever at 210% in 26, and people that captain / triple captain KDB in 36 at 40%? I mean, I feel like I feel like the pain of not having Salah as my triple captain in 36 was completely wiped out. And then some by the KDB captaincy, and obviously from a rank perspective, exactly the same as well.
I think that always how we end up will always take precedent.
Yeah,
like you'll always feel better walking away from a 3-3 draw when you're a 3-0 down.
Yes,
You
It's
always
true.
will.
It's
You
true.
know, the team that was 3-0 down will always go away feeling like they're okay. So those that recover get in there. But just always think, if what happened was you came out with a 3-3 draw, you still didn't win 3-0. And what we want to do is win 3-0. So, what I'd rather do, I'd rather have been 26k then and be number one now. That's when you really have had fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I'd like to look at ways in which I stop looking as much at rank. I stop looking at those things, but I don't know if I can, because I'm quite obsessive about it and want to check those things. And actually, as well, I don't mind facing into it. Conte said something today at the end of the game that said, basically, they said, "Will you watch the game tomorrow night?" And he said, "Yeah. I'll watch it because I love football, and I kind of also want to suffer." Is what he said, and I thought, like, that is literally me, in a way of, like, when loads of people are like, "Oh my god, I better switch it off. I can't look at it." I'll be like,
Gotta watch it.
Yeah. So yeah,
Cool.
need to work out the ways which is good for you. You enjoyed yourself?
I think I've had an enjoyable season, actually. I've even enjoyed the frustrating days, because I feel like I've had a larger audience to share it with almost this season as well, which has been good. And there's a lot of talk about how we have these sort of swinging game weeks because there's always someone that's having a good game week. But what that also means is there's always someone else that's having a bad game week as well. And so even when I've had bad ones, I've seen other people that have gone away from Salah and failed. They've had loads of people had the Havertz captaincy. Quite a few people, not that many obviously, but a few people went away from Salah in 26. A few people didn't have the James, the Coutinho, the Cash in 28. And so, I felt like I've shared that with other people as well. And then, I've been able to enjoy the highs of, the free hit 34, which went miles better than I expected. Great. That was great for me. Obviously not great for you, but great for me. And then 36 was obviously monster at like 175 points with the KDB captain. So yeah,
we got through it, mate.
We have just quick fire questions. And I think Paulie, I think we might leave that 3 lessons learned from this season until like sort of
that'll be post-season, mate.
Post-season pod or end of season pod. So FPL River says, would you choose Kulu or Sessegnon as your third Spurs asset if you had the choice?
Kulu.
Okay, I'd probably choose Sess now. For next week, I would. Thoughts on Jota versus Diaz in 38? Jota facing his former team.
Just watch what happens midweek.
Yeah, mate. midweek's going to be the one.
Jota's definitely starting. If Jota plays well, I think he plays on the weekend. I think that
Klopp is going to want to start Salah, Mane, Diaz in the Champions League. Right.
He is. So we don't know, though. We don't know if Salah turns out it's bad and it's going to be out for the Champions League final. So it wouldn't surprise me if they need to find something to do on that right side if Salah's out, because it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Like Diaz doesn't look right out there. Mane doesn't look right if he's not right there. Josh doesn't look right. They all want to go to the left. So they do need to work something through about how do they cover that right side.
Just push Trent further up. But it might be the answer.
It might be the answer, and that's why I say that
you get two guys central and then one guy on the left.
That's why I don't think Trent is the world's worst captain option in 38. But we'll learn a lot during this week about Salah.
Fair enough.
Just see it wait.
And then FPL Spartan, sometimes it's easier to chase. This is not really a question, but the guy's number one now was 900 3 weeks ago. I'm at my highest rank of the season so far. So it feels better if that makes sense. Yes, that makes 100% sense. Who scores more points in 38? Saka or Bowen?
Mate, Bowen, actually, it's actually an insult that we haven't mentioned how well Bowen is playing. Yeah. Again, he's played, what a season. Again, game week 1, got to find a place for him because he will want on that playing for the World Cup, mate. He's definitely somebody that we have to look at. Do you want him in your 38 team away to Brighton? Nah. I'll have Saka at home to Everton, thanks.
Yeah, fair enough. Did Chelsea batter Watford?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. If so, what asset?
We've done this earlier.
Mount.
Watch it back.
Yeah.
Watch it back. Loads.
Yeah. Is Son or Mount better for 38 to target? Son, probably. Yeah. Big chances, Norwich. They just concede big chances. We said we weren't going to cover Norwich. Actually, did they concede massive? I didn't even look at the... Let's have a quick look. Hold on.
Mate, the Norwich. They were playing Wolves, mate. Can you justify anything when you play Wolves?
Well, no, I guess not. But I just wanted to just for interest. I mean,
doesn't count when you play Wolves, mate.
No, but they still did concede at least one big chance. Yeah. And a couple of medium-sized chances.
2 in the first 30 minutes, mate. Oh, no, that's actually
Wolves conceding them, yeah. But
anyway,
we're done.
Right.
Cool.
We'll work it out. So I'm flying next Saturday morning. I think I'm going up Friday night. So yeah. I'm definitely not around next weekend, but we're try and get something in either later this week or do something when we get back.
Sounds good. Just as a final shout, just thanks to everyone who's watched on the stream. Thanks to everyone who's listened so far this season. Really, really appreciate it. The current world number 2 is sitting top of our pod league as well. So Jamie, if you're listening, keep smashing it. You're only a couple of points behind, and I think you might be top of the world by the end of this game week. So fair play to you. We need to speak to you, I think. Get you on at some point. So yeah, I think that's everything. Remember, please make sure you do like the video and subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the podcast. We also put a tweet out to let you know when the podcast is out as well. Thanks very much. Hope you've enjoyed it, and good luck for the rest of game week 37, and good luck for game week 38.
See you later.
Speak to you later, mate.
Bye.